get from here to there? Well, be the student, find your teacher. You heard when the student is ready, the teacher will appear. Let's be more proactive and be the student, find your teacher. And it all starts with goals. You know, I've set a lot of goals, and I want to share some of them with you. When I was in high school, I set a goal to be the halfback, no. Fullback, no. Wide receiver, no. Basketball, no. Distance running, or lasted 3 minutes. You got to go longer than that. No. Pole vault. Oh, I like the pole vault. So I set a goal to get the state record, no. Western New York record, no. County record. When I got to college, I had a goal to get a scholarship, no. Brendan, no. Pam, no. Cindy, no. Lynn, no. Cammie, no. 4.0 GPA, no. 3.5 GPA, no. I'll stop there. First business, no. Second business, no. Jarin, no. Tammy, no. Kimberly, no. Becky, no. Becky, no. Becky, no. I didn't have a lot of luck with Becky. Well, like you heard, I did this for the Broncos, and these guys are looking at each other going, why is he speaking to us? He's a loser. Well, you know what I learned about goals? Here's what somebody taught me. When you have the courage to set a goal, it's like stepping into that corridor, and there's your goal at the end of the corridor. And you know what I learned? You know the little miracle? If you start heading towards your goal, you will see other doors of opportunity you would have never known about had you not taken that first step. Hey, my goal was to be the halfback on the football team. It didn't work out. But halfway down that corridor, one day the coach says, let's see who can kick a football. I didn't know I could kick 60-yard field goals. So that got me into BYU. So I had a goal to get a scholarship. It didn't work out. But one day I noticed, hey, I got a master's and a bachelor's degree from a major university. Oh, I had a goal to get to all the away games, and football wasn't working out, so I figured out a way to do it. I became a cheerleader. In fact, my senior year, I was cheerleading and on the football team at the same time. I don't know how often that's happened. But when I graduated, I could still kick 60-yard field goals. And I thought, I should try out for pro football. But I wasn't sure. Well, be the student, find your teacher. I went to my older, wiser mentor, and I said, so what do you think? Should I try out for pro football? He said, Bob, did you ever see the movie Grumpy Old Men? Who's ever seen that movie? He said the greatest line in that movie is, the only things we regret in life are the chances we never take. He says, Bob, go for it, you can't lose. I said, what do you mean I can't lose? He said, pal, there are 2 attributes of every successful person that's ever walked the face of the planet. Number 1, they were persistent. Number 2, they all failed. He said, do you know how many people think failure is a bad thing? It's your failures that teach you how to be successful. He said, Bob, go for it. And if you fail, fantastic. You will learn great things that will help you the rest of your life. And if you go for pro football and you make it and you make tons of money, fantastic. He said, you're young. You'll fail later. You should be okay. But he says, Bob, you need to be prepared. And you've heard this. It's better to be prepared and not have an opportunity than to have an opportunity and not be prepared. He said, Bob, my motto is, I will get prepared and perhaps my chance will come. So I kicked 100 footballs a day. I ran 8 to 10 miles a day. I did everything physically possible to get ready for that possible opportunity. But I had a problem. The problem was I didn't have an agent. And you got to have an agent to get in pro football. But nobody talked to me. I was a cheerleader by the time I graduated. Well, here's another little miracle about working hard towards a goal. There are people that see how hard you're working, and they will open up doors for you. One of the other football players on the team came up to me one day. He says, Bob, here's the number to my agent in American Fork. Call him. So I called the guy on Monday. He didn't call back. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, left messages. He didn't call back. Friday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, he didn't call back. Finally, this lady answers the phone, and I'm thrilled. A live person answered the phone. And I said, is Greg Bloom there? She goes, well, no. I said, do you have his home phone number? She said, well, yeah, but who's this? I go, this is Bob Cattell, and I'm the kicker, and I'm really good. He's going to want to talk. I don't even remember what I really said. But she finally said, okay, here's his home phone number. But she said, can I ask you a question? Who told you to call me? I said, well, this is his office in American Fork. She says, honey, you badly misdialed the number. This is my house in Spanish Fork. He just happens to be a friend of the family. And I also learned when you're working hard for something, miracles happen. Doors open on both sides. Well, the guy comes out, he watches me kick, and he's blown away, and he calls me 2 weeks later, he says, Bob, I tried. No one will take you into their camp. They call BYU Sports Information and find out you've only been in 3 varsity games. I'm sorry. Well, I was getting a little discouraged, but then another door opens. One of the other football players says, Bob, the coach for Denver is down in the football office right now. Go down and talk to him. So I go running down there. I walk in the door, and I'm going to tell you something. I could not have done what I did next had I not worked so hard and felt prepared. I walked in, and there's the coach from Denver surrounded by BYU All-American players that are going to go to the NFL, and I walked in and I said it just like this, hey, You guys looking for a kicker? The players were mortified. The coach was nice. He smiled. He said, well, we've already signed 4 kickers this year. Great, what would it take to sign a 5th kicker? And he smiled again. And he said, well, he'd have to be pretty darn good. Sir, look out the window. You see that field goal post out there? I kick over the top of that for 50 yards. It will clear the field goal post. It will clear the fence. It will hit the cars. And then I'll go back and kick off, and I will kick off right through that field goal post. That's pretty darn good, isn't it? And he smiled, and he looked at his watch, and he said, 2 o'clock, I'll give you 15 minutes. And I went out there, and I nailed everything up to 60 yards. He signed me on the spot. I went to camp, and on the 3rd day, you know what happened? I got cut. That's it. That's the end of the story. No pro football. And there's people that go, well, why did you tell us that story? This is why I told you the story. Was it a monumental waste of time? It was 8 months of hard work. But when I started, I was in the valley looking up at the mountain. After I was done, I went, I'm standing on higher ground. I can see things from here I couldn't see down there. You see, what you get by reaching your goal isn't nearly as important as what you become as a person by reaching for it. I go, I can do anything. I quit my job working for someone else. I made more money in sales in 1 month than I would in the whole year where I was. I went back to grad school and I headed after my dreams.